Lexus RC F GT3 race car in VR. Hello there everybody and welcome to OpenFed Gaming. I am the OpenFed. Today we're driving a 2017 Lexus RC F GT3 race car. We're driving it in a World Touring Car 700 race. We're driving it at the 24-hour Du Mans racetrack with a 30-minute time limit. The 30 minutes is going to take 6 or 7 laps, maybe even 8, depending on how fast you go. We're one of 20 cars and we started out with a rolling start. Now I'd just like to say, normally when I drive in VR, I like to drive with all the display off, but because this is a time limit event, it's a 30-minute race, meaning, the way I understand it, when the 30 minutes are up, whoever is in the lead, wherever he is in that particular lap, that's the last lap of the race. I could be wrong on that, but that's the way I understand it. Anyhow, as we're racing along here, the amount of laps that it's going to take is going to be mainly dependent upon how fast you drive or how many pit stops you make. So we're just going to have to keep an eye out on that and see what happens, because we also got to keep an eye on, you have to know, you can't see, but you have to know your fuel consumption before you start this race. And we got to keep an eye on the weather, because when the weather turns bad, if you're on a track with regular tires and it rains, you got a lot of trouble, because you don't get nowhere, you get no traction, you can't get anywhere. So keep an eye on the weather. Now we're going to be okay the first lap. It looks pretty nice out there, so the weather doesn't seem to be an issue. Now I'm quite familiar with this track. I've driven it quite a bit, and I no longer try to win the race in the first lap, thus overshooting the corners, because I would always come in really hot into the corners and then wonder why I kept overshooting them. So I decided to slow down a little bit, and lo and behold, I get better lap times. I stay on the track, I pass more cars, and I have a lot more fun. So that's the strategy for me. Just keep an even speed. Now, because we got the partial display on, and unfortunately with the time, the driver's names show up above the car, but we will deal with that. That's okay. But the other thing that's good about it, it shows you how many laps you've gone, and it shows you what position you're in. Like we just turned into 8th here out of 20. You know, and you don't get to see any of that when you're driving with a display totally off. But like I said, I need it for the time, which oddly enough is hard to see when it's up in the sky like that, but that's okay. We'll figure out what's going on. So here we're coming around the corner here, catching up to car number 6 and 5 and 4. And this race, these guys, they zip along pretty good, and it's really hard to know what position you're in when your display is off, you know, until you go into the pit for fuel. So my thinking is here now that we can do 3 laps on 1 tank. If I need to go in earlier to change tires because it's raining out or whatever, then so much the better. We'll top up the tank when we get in there. We change the tires. In the meantime, we're just going to enjoy the race and keep ripping and try and get to be in position number 1, because like I said, we might have to make 2 or 3 pit stops and somebody else might only have to make 1. And if they only make 1 pit stop, they'll go zoom by when you're in there refueling and take over the lead. So to keep that from happening, we're going to try and go as hard as we can, get to the front, get to the lead of the pack. We've only got 5 cars left to pass, so that's not too far. Now there's a few really good spots to pass in this race, as you've already seen, because we are now coming just about to the end of the first lap. Another one of those little S-curvies. I never did get very good at doing these, but I seem to, well, the car does most of the work for you. And it's a beautiful car. It just looks absolutely amazing on the inside. And when you're driving it in VR, I don't know what it is, but when you drive the little compact 2-door or 4-door cars, like the little Ford Escorts, when you're driving them, they feel a little bouncier. Of course, it's not true because you're in VR, but it just seems that way. And when you're driving this one, it feels like it's really solid on the road. And that's really enjoyable to drive because he takes the turns nice and smooth. That is, of course, as long as you drive him that way. Now, I can take him nice and smooth because I drive with the steering wheel. If I was driving with my controller, I'd be all over the road. I wouldn't be able to stay on the track because I've never really learned how to drive with one of those. Seeing as how I started a little later than most people. Anyhow, that orange car was really irritating me, the way he all of a sudden stepped on the brakes. And every once in a while they do that. That's why I always caution people about tailgating. When you're going along a straight stretch like this, it's not such a bad deal. But when you go around a corner, because they all seem to slow down so much that sometimes they slow down real fast and then you can't help but rear end them. So hey, sorry buddy, but that's just what happened. So anyhow, as we're coming around the corner here, car number 1, 2, and 3 are pretty fast because that's car number 3 in front of us and we can't even see car number 1 and 2. And we're well into our second lap. So we're just gonna have to keep ripping. Wow, it's just absolutely a beautiful race. It keeps blowing me away how beautiful it is to race in VR on Gran Turismo 7. I might sound like a broken record, but boy, I tell you, the words just keep going around in my head. Hey, I could see car number 2 just up ahead. Well, that's just great. We're gonna catch up to them here and see if we can pass this number 3 and slide into his position. Oh, number 2 is way up there, but that's okay. We've got time. Because the counter, well, it's really hard to see. 20 some odd minutes, I guess, 21 minutes, something like that. But that's okay. We got to go in and get fuel soon and new tires, and when that happens, we can always see what the counter says on there a little bit better, and then we can keep track a little bit better. So, anyhow, it's starting to look like it might be growling over a little bit. We can still see blue in front of us, but all of a sudden the whole aura seemed to gray up a little bit for me. We got to keep an eye on it and see if it starts to rain, because if it starts to rain, now we know where the pit entrance is, and I forgot to say that, but always remember when you're doing a race where you know you got to go and get fuel sooner or later, in the very first lap, look to see where the pit entrance is so that you know where it is before you need it. And if you can, also see where the pit exit is, because sometimes they have them right in front of a corner and you come out of the pit and you hammer down and you overshoot the corner right in front of you. So those are 2 little crucial things that I learned anyhow, because I never used to do. And hey, maybe that trick will help you. Now I can see the wipers going, which means that there is water coming down, but it's not raining very fast yet. So now we got a choice to make. Should we go in and change our tires, put wets on, or should we take a chance and go another lap? Well, we've only got 2 cars in front of us, and we've got lots of time left. Still around 21 minutes. Looks like. So let's go and change them. Let's go change them, fuel up, and then we're ready to rock and roll again. We've only got 2 cars in front of us at the moment. Oh, and he's going in. That's a good sign. I think we better go in too. Yeah, put those wets on, because I don't trust this weather. Not in this track. Our tires were not bad, and those are racing hards. Those are not wet, so our racing hards can go on easy 4 laps, obviously. Now we're dropping down a position real quick. 4th already. We're going to drop even further. But that's okay. The timer is on the far right-hand side on the bottom. 20 minutes and 39 seconds is how long we've got left before the race is done. And we're already in 8th place. 9th now. Ooh, we're dropping quick. Let's go, boys. Let's get those wets on. Let's get out of here. We got a race to win. Ooh, we're in 17th. We're almost right at the back of the pack. Well, that didn't take long, did it now? But I got a funny feeling. Okay, we're coming out 16th because 2 of them came into the pit. We're coming out 16th, but I got a funny feeling that the cars in front of us on the track right now don't have their wets on. You know what that means? They're going to be slipping and sliding all over the place, and they're going to be easy prey for the overfit. So we'll just have to wait and see when we catch up to them and see if this rain gets any worse, because like I said, the wets, I believe these wets on this car, on this track, are good for about 3 laps at the most. So I don't like to push it past 2, so we'll have to see how, oh, here comes the rain. Here comes the rain. And the other thing now that you got to remember, when the rain starts letting up, you might think, let's go in and change into the hard racing tires and we can go a little faster. And that's a good idea. However, as long as the track is wet, the car will react, but not the way you want it to. Because wet track with a sunny sky doesn't mean you're going to get more traction. You have to wait until the track dries up. So keep that in mind. Now, as we're coming around the corner here, these guys, they love to block you out. But that's okay, because they don't have the speed right now, because it's too wet for them. Now, in the straight section, it's not so bad. They don't have too much trouble. It's when they got to turn, then they got to really slow right down. You know, so they can't take the turns too fast. And that rain is just coming down. Wow. Now, when you're driving in VR, it's almost like you're in a rainstorm. It is just incredible how beautiful that is. Anyhow, here he comes. See, now look at him. He's definitely not got wet tires on. Okay, so we're gonna get by these guys real quick here, and what that's gonna do is gonna put us in the front of the race. Now we might not have a lot of cars to beat after that, but it'll put us in the front and a better chance of winning this race. Now, as we get to the top here, I'll never forget one time I was racing in this race, and at the top I came around the corner and I looked in my rearview mirror and I saw one of the other cars try to take the turn here, and he didn't have wets. It was raining like this, and he shot straight forward right there. And it was just absolutely the coolest to see the guy panicking as he couldn't turn. Yeah, not because it was cool because it was in a video game, but it looked really cool. Anyhow, we're gonna rip along here and try and get around the corner, and we are down to 17 minutes and 17 seconds left to go. And it's still not clear how many laps we're going to be doing here. We're just going to have to kind of ride it out. Now, we've gone 1 lap. This is only our first lap with the wet tires on. So probably the best thing to do is, because we're getting close to where the pit is, it doesn't look anything like it's getting any better. So what we're going to do, I'm thinking we're going to do another lap with these tires, because even if it stopped raining right now, the track would still be wet. So we're going to do 2 laps with these tires, and that'll put us up to 4 laps done. And then we'll reassess again to see how much time is left in the race, and then we can put whatever we need to put on. But I think we've got to go 4 laps. See, it's starting to slow down. The wipers, they stop every once in a while, but you can still see the rooster tail behind the cars. It's another telltale sign that the track is wet. You see how easy it is to pass them in the rain when you got wet tires on? They should have fought ahead. Should have changed their tires the last time around. Anyhow, we're coming up to the pit stop pretty quick here. So, like I said, we've only gone 1 lap, so let's keep going. And just to remind everybody else again, it's easy to remember where the pit stop is in this track. There's a section of blue paint on the side, right there, and it's around the next corner, right where he's going in. So you can't miss it. It'd be pretty tough to miss it. And then I'll show you where it comes out as we're getting up to the grandstand through these beautiful little S-curves. Wow, she still looks pretty growly out there. Still looks pretty growly. Now the exit of the pit is right about on your right hand side with that green green overpass thing was. It showed the exit. So here we're going to be doing our 4th lap. So it looks like if we can time this just right, we can go in after our 4th lap, put on new tires, get some more fuel, and then go 1 lap and then put our hard tires on. If it's still raining after this lap, because we're not sure what the weather's going to be doing. But we're in first place now. Now, I always say I don't like to be in first place, especially this early in the race, because now you got to set the pace. And with all the display off, you cannot tell where any of the other cars are. I can't tell if there's a car 4 or 5 seconds behind me or if he's a minute behind me. So it's kind of annoying, and it makes it really hard to race, because I tend to overdo things. And I tend to go too fast, thinking I don't want anybody to catch up to me, so I'm going to go really fast, and then I spin out in the corners or whatever. It's been a real fight, a real battle to get me to slow down when I'm leading. And then sometimes I slow down too much and I don't keep an eye on the rearview mirror, and I get cars hitting by. So I can't win for losing. I try to do the best I can, but you know, in the end, like I keep saying, the end result has got to be that you're having fun and enjoying the game, playing it. If that's what you're doing, then everything's cool. It doesn't matter. It don't even matter if you win or lose. Yeah, right. We still want to win. We still would like to win, because that doubles the fun. So as we're coming up around another one of those little S turns or little corner turns or whatever you want to, I don't know what they call them, what the official name for them is. You do have to slow down around these, even with wet tires, because if you come out of it too fast, you'll still spin out. And even with wets, if you do spin out, then you're really in trouble, so you don't want to do that. But it's easy to keep control of it. Just hold back a little bit. It's not that difficult to do. Now, as we get to the top here, that's the top end of the lap. I usually try and look at this top point as the halfway point. So here we're at 3.5 laps now. Now, like I said, it's going to be 6 or 7 laps, and I think 7 at the most, because we're down to 18 minutes. Yeah, I think about 18 minutes or less. I think it's less than that. Anyhow, we're going to be getting some fuel. I believe we're going to go into the pits at the end of this 4th lap, because the wet tires, I'm not sure how quickly they wear down. And when I used to race with a different car on this track, when the track was wet, 2 laps is all I could do. So we got a good enough lead, I'm sure of that. So let's go in, and the only decision we got to make is what kind of tires are we going to put on? Are we going to take a chance and put on the dry ones, or are we going to keep the wets on? You know, you gotta think of that beforehand, because when you drive in, right away you have to make a choice as to what tires you want to put on, if any at all, right? So you should know. And the wipers are still going back off and on, so I'm thinking that we're gonna take these wets off, put new ones on, fuel up, and go. I think that's the best choice, because then if the track dries up in 1 lap, we can always go back in again and fuel up again and put the racing tires on. I think that might be our best choice, our best option. So let's get in there and let's get a new, because it's still too wet, it's still too growly. The track's still wet in some spots, and it doesn't hurt to put your wets on, new wets on, because like I said, I've got enough of a lead, I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so let's go and get some new tires. All right, now see, now my tires are not that far worn. I could have easily gone 4 laps, but I didn't know that, so I had to stop in anyhow, which is okay. We got 10 minutes and 18 seconds left on the timer, so that's 2 laps for sure. Now, like I said, if we do one lap with these wets, come back in and change it again, we might be able to get away with doing only 2 more laps instead of 3. Yeah, we're gonna keep an eye on the timer and see how she counts down. Okay, boys, let's put some new wets on. There we go. Let's fuel her up. See, that's half a tank was just under half a tank for 2 laps. That's pretty good. I could have gone four laps with the tires and with the fuel. But that's okay. It's not about how far you can go. It's about replacing your tires at the right moment. Okay, so coming out of there now, as you can see, it's still pretty growly. But if these races, the way they usually go, when the weather changes and it starts to get better, before you finish this lap, you'll have sunshine. And if that's the case, then we'll go back and change the wets and put the dries on, racing hards. It's nicer, I believe, when it's sunny out. I love the races when it's sunny out, but it's cool that when the weather changes during the race, but it's a little bit harder to regulate everything going into the pits, getting the right tires. Because if you didn't have the right tires on, you'd be lost. You'd be lost. It's happened to me before where I decided to go another lap with my dry tires, and it started raining, and all of a sudden everybody passed me. I couldn't even move. The car would barely move. You would throttle her up and she'd just sit there and spin around, and it's not a pretty sight. Not a lot of fun. So if you can take a little bit of time and think about what you're doing and strategize when you want to put wets or dry tires on and when you want to fuel up, it makes the race even that much better. You know, then with the full immersion, like I said, it's unfortunate that we have to have a little bit of the race information up there, but you know, on the regular races we don't do that. We don't have anything up on the screen. Just the racing. So here we're going through that little backwards curve again, and then just up at the top there is our halfway point. And it looks like it's starting to dry up. I haven't seen the wipers go a lot lately, and it's starting to get a little bit lighter. Now, I wouldn't trust the track just yet, because it looks like it's still a little moist on the sides, but if you do change your tires, if you can drive in the driving lane where everybody drives, because that part dries up real quick, but the outer edges don't. And if you happen to accidentally veer off on those outer edges, you could spin out, so don't forget that. You gotta try and keep that in mind too. But there again, I got enough of a lead that I can just cruise a little bit. I don't have to push it too hard. I can just cruise around the corners. Well, I don't know. What do you think? We're getting close to the end of this lap. Should we change our tires? I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll leave it till the last possible second to decide. We will fuel up, that's for sure, because at the least we have to do 1 more lap, maybe two. But we're going to see if we can manipulate the time a little bit, because by going into the pit, you use up a little bit of time, and if you got enough of a lead, it's okay to use up a little bit of that time to chew into that 30-minute time limit. Now, I think the track is dry enough. I think we should take the wets off. The sky is starting to clear up. Most of the track, of the width of the track, is dry. I think that's what we'll do. I hope it's the right decision. I hope we're doing the right thing by taking these wets off. Okay, here we go. Blue paint on the right hand side right there, and just past the end of it around the corner. Let's go and get those other tires. Now that was only 1 lap on new wets, right? You see, look at that. The tire wear is, boy, a third. Somewhere between a quarter and a third. So yeah, the wet tires don't last long. 2-3 laps at the most. The most. Well, I think it's getting sunny out. We get the racing hards out and fuel her up. Give that Lex a little bit of fuel because you never know. We are in first position. We just finished lap number 5. We got just over 4.5 minutes left to go in the race. Now we know that the laps are about between 4 and 4.5 minutes, I suppose. So we're leaving the pit at about 4:21 left to go in the lap. So if we take it easy, don't over boogie, don't over throttle, don't go too hard, just keep it a nice easy steady rhythm. And if at the halfway point, we had 4:22, if at the halfway point we're at 2:10 or less, there's a good chance that this is our last lap. So that's what we'd like to do. See, the blue sky is out and it's looking just absolutely gorgeous out there. This is such a beautiful track to run. You should run it as soon as you can or drive it, not run it. Drive it as soon as you can, because I put off driving this one because I didn't want to do the 30 minutes and I didn't want to do the 5 lappers. I thought they'd be too much competition and too hard. I wouldn't be able to figure out how to, get everything right with the tire changes and the fuel ups and the pit stops. And, I just said, that's it. Jumped in with both feet, figured it out, and now it's actually really easy and a lot of fun. So as we're coming around the corner here, we're about, I'd say that's about quarter of the way, right? It's about quarter of the way, and I get up to the point. Our timer is still kicking down. 250 it looks like. It's hard to see on the screen here. I think she's at about 250. So, yeah, 211 there. Okay, we're going to be under 2 minutes when we get to the halfway point. So I'm thinking this is the last lap of the race. And we're in first place, so it doesn't look like anybody's going to pass us. And I can't see anybody anywhere as near us in the rearview mirror. So it looks like the Opafet's going to take this one, but we don't want to start, you never know, we don't want to start counting our chickens before they're hatched. Never know, anything can happen, because even in Gran Turismo you could slide off the track, run into the wall, be occupied for more time than you would like to trying to get it back on the track, and 1 or 2 cars zip by you and you can't catch them. Because cars can zip by you even if you don't know where they are. Just because you don't know doesn't mean anything. Now we're at 144 at the halfway point there. Now, if I go really, really fast, I might get to the checkered flag before 144. And if I cross that line before the timer runs out, everybody will have to do another lap, including me. So I'd like that timer to run out while I'm in this lap. So that would be the optimum for the Opafet today. And it looks like it's gonna be close. Okay, we're down to 1 minute and 4 seconds. Ooh, and we're getting close. We're getting close to the end now. What an absolutely awesome race this was. I really enjoy these ones now. Like I said, I was hesitant at first, but don't be shy. Do it. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Very enjoyable race to run. Nice car to drive. You'll be glad you did. Coming up around the corner, we're at 35 seconds to go. Looks like, well, we got a little ways to go yet, so it looks like the timer is going to run out. Well, I tell you, I really enjoyed this one, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. Hope to see you back at, oh, look at that. Hope to see you back at Opafet Gaming, but not me doing that. Hope to see you back real soon. And until the next time, Happy racing? We've been racing in a Lexus on the 24-hour Du Mans track with Yo Perfect.